They got nothing. They don't actually have the winning issues. And so you got one ambitious governor out in California who has not done much for his state, to say the least. That would be one Gavin Newsom. You know, he might be thinking it's time to maybe come a little bit more to the central, maybe actually embrace some of these things that people care about. Wait till you hear what he told my friend Charlie Kirk. I'm going to get to that in a second. But it's being said, it's important to understand, against this backdrop, against a backdrop where people like even in rural Maine are digging in their heels. If they're Democrats, they're saying we're going to stand up for boys that want to play girls' sports. And Donald Trump's not having it. He's like, I'll see you in court and your political career is over because you are a moron. Basically, my word's not his, but take a peek.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
He's right. She's not going to be because things are turning. And they're turning so quickly, at least for those of the Democrat Party that get it. And that's a minority right now, that you had one Governor Newsom of California sit down with Charlie, who I've known a long time. I used to put him on my Fox show once a week, sometimes twice a week. He's really smart. He's very good. He sat down with Gavin and he's like, you know, are you really thinking about this the right way? And wait till you hear what Gavin said. Let's play it.
Like, you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out and say no.
No, and I appreciate.
But like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that.
Excuse me? Gavin, is that you? Wow. So he has ambitions of running for president in 2028, and he knows that the country's not with him on whether it be women's sports, whether it be excessive spending, whether it be the border. And I don't know how he's going to quite backtrack because, you know, California is proud of, say, for example, providing transgender inmates in prison with operations and trans care should they so desire it. So he's going to have a lot of explaining to do in terms of the policies he's championed there in California. But the fact that he did that, first of all, the fact that he went on Charlie's show, the fact that he said that and was sort of like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. It's like, who are you? What just happened? What are you doing? Maybe he's reading some of these poll numbers and he's figuring it out. But I don't think everyone's that smart. In fact, the party right now is really angry with him. They're like, what are you doing? Because we're all about men playing women's sports, right? I'm sorry. People born as males that now believe they are females playing women's sports. I'm sorry, guys. You know, you lose us. You're losing us fast. And you know what? I don't have to be the one to tell you. Let's let Stephen Smith, sportscaster, he went on to The View. Okay, so Stephen Smith went on to The View the other day and literally had to tell these ladies to their face, this is priceless. This is the moment you got to see. When Stephen tells Joy Behar, as she tries to say, it's not a mandate. And he looks at her, he's like, yeah, it's a mandate, a serious mandate. Thank you, Stan Liberty, for the generosity. Much appreciated. Let's watch.
only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
He's giving them some really good advice. I mean, I thought I gave him some really good advice. A couple years back, I was like, you can't run Joe. Okay, you just can't run Joe. And you definitely can't run Kamala. And what did they do? They ran Joe and then they ran Kamala. It's like, wow, guys. I mean, get outside yourself, would you? Listen to Stephen Smith. Now, I don't necessarily want to do him any favors, in all seriousness, but it's amazing to me how people can be so darn wrong over and over and over again. It's like, this is not working, okay? The country's not with you. I don't care how much NGO money you spend trying to convince us. You know, there's just some basic intrinsic things that we as human beings kind of get. And one of the things most of us really get is something simple like gender. So, Stephen, you're doing Joy a favor. You're doing ABC a favor by going on there and explaining the facts of life, if you would. Because they're living in la la land, and it's dangerous for them. It's dangerous for people who watch them, and it is dangerous for the Democrat Party, except for the fact that the Democrat Party is just going to keep losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. So we're okay with that, right? We can humiliate those hosts all we want. I still don't think it's gonna sink in because of who they are. I'm getting better. You can hear my voice is getting better. I'm traveling right now. So I really need my Balance in Nature. A quick shout out to our friends at Balance in Nature. Balanceinnature.com. You can get 35% off. Use code word Trish. 35% off plus free shipping, plus money back guarantee, all that good stuff. It is a multivitamin that I take every day, my fruits and veggies. And these are gummies. They taste really good. So I like them. They're gluten-free for those of you that care. And they're just a great way to get your nutrients. And so I got the first cold I have gotten this year since I've been taking it for like basically a year, and it's been terrific. I haven't gotten a cold until now, of course, and you hear it a little bit, but I'm doing all right, and I credit them even with the fact that I'm doing all right, and the fact that I only got one. The kids have had like 5. Anyway, I wanted to get to some of the comments before I went to this other story, the cast of Hamilton. Did you see this, guys? Oh my goodness. Oh, a piece of my mind, you're so cute. He said, if I ever get too much gold, don't hesitate to send some over. Listen, that's why I created, in all seriousness, not to sound like a broken record, but this is why I created 76 Research. I kid you not, because people, it's intimidating. It's hard to figure out what to invest in. And so we put these 3 portfolios together, model portfolios. You can see the stocks in these portfolios. These are top 5 holdings in each one. They've been absolutely killing it. So that's a passion of mine. I want you guys to succeed. And I want you to be able to take care of yourself. If you're not ready for a portfolio, at least get my gift to you, use code word dollar. It's our 1 year anniversary. Go to 76research.com and use the code word. I'm looking at Stan. Thank you so much for that comment. He said, if I ever run for president, that I've got his vote. Thank you. I would just like you to make sure you have subscribed. I think you have, Stan, right here on the channel. And so many of you, it's good to have such a huge community here.